I get the sense that she don't trust you.
She thinks I'm gonna lose her fortune.
When those sharks smell her doubt in you.
By the time episode 6 arrives, Landman Season 2 has already done its quiet work. The lines are drawn. The choices have been made. What's left is consequence. This episode sits at a dangerous point in the story, where momentum can no longer be redirected, only endured. The trailer makes that clear without spelling it out. Nothing feels rushed, yet nothing feels safe. Every pause carries weight. Every conversation feels like it's happening too late. What separates episode 6 from earlier episodes is restraint. The story no longer explains itself. It assumes the audience understands what is at stake. Power has shifted, trust has thinned, and relationships have been weakened not by arguments, but by silence. The danger here is not chaos, it is inevitability. Problems are no longer forming, they are surfacing. At the center of this tension is the realization that leadership does not come with control, only responsibility. Decisions that once felt temporary now feel permanent. Solutions that once seemed possible now feel compromised. The trailer suggests that episode 6 will not introduce new threats. Instead, it forces existing ones into the open, where they can no longer be managed quietly. There is a sense throughout the episode that time has run out. Conversations sound shorter, answers feel incomplete. Even routine questions carry urgency, as if everyone understands that the window to act is closing. This is where Landman shifts from strategy to survival. The business is no longer about growth or ambition. It is about damage control. And who will be left standing when the cost finally comes due. What makes this episode emotionally heavy is that no one appears fully prepared for what's coming. Everyone is reacting, adjusting, and calculating, but no one feels ahead of the situation. Power structures still exist, but they feel fragile. Authority still matters, but it no longer guarantees safety. The trailer frames episode 6 as the moment when illusion gives way to reality. At the heart of episode 6 is Tommy Norris, a man whose journey this season has been defined not by ambition, but by obligation. From the beginning, Tommy stepped into a role he neither sought nor fully understood. Leadership was thrust upon him. Chaos demanded him to act. He believed he could hold things together long enough for balance to return. But the trailer makes one thing painfully clear. That belief is eroding. Tommy no longer feels like someone temporarily managing a crisis. He looks trapped. Every expression is measured. Every movement deliberate. Improvisation has been replaced by calculation. The episode frames him as a man who carries not just the weight of a company, but the weight of people's expectations, their hopes, and their fears. Every decision is a gamble with consequences that ripple outward, far beyond the office or the boardroom. Isolation permeates Tommy's world. Even in rooms filled with people, he feels utterly alone. Conversations have become transactional. Trust is conditional, fragile, and fleeting. Those around him may appear supportive, but they are wary, calculating, watching for weaknesses. The trailer hints at Tommy's growing realization that knowledge and skill are not enough to maintain control. Leadership is messy. It is messy because every action creates debts, resentment, and obligations that cannot be undone. Episode 6 also emphasizes the psychological toll on Tommy. The trailer paints him not as a conqueror, but as a man at the center of converging pressures. Decisions, once manageable, now feel crushing. The oil business, with all its deals, risks, and politics, has become a crucible. Every step forward risks collapse. Every hesitation risks exposure. And the audience is made to feel that collapse is no longer a question of if, but when. His interactions with other key players deepen this tension. Cammy Miller's presence highlights not only external challenges to his authority but internal conflicts over vision and strategy. Where Tommy favors caution and measured control, Cammy pushes for visibility and assertion. She is bold, ambitious, and unwilling to be a secondary figure. Episode 6 frames this dynamic as a test of resilience. Who will bend, and who will break under pressure? Even in his personal life, the strain is evident. Tommy's relationship with his son Cooper reflects a man wrestling with limitations. He wants to protect his son, guide him, shield him from the harsh realities he knows all too well. But he's painfully aware that shielding is impossible. Every choice he makes professionally echoes at home, subtly shaping his son's understanding of strength, trust, and consequence. Episode 6 is not about confrontation for spectacle. It is about the invisible weight Tommy carries, the unspoken debts, the fragile trust, the tension between caution and ambition. This is where the series truly underscores its slow-burn brilliance. It makes the audience feel the cost of leadership, not through grandiose moments, but through restraint, implication, and the suffocating gravity of responsibility. Episode 6 places Cammy Miller at the forefront of tension, not as a villain but as a force of inevitability. Her presence in the trailer signals the fragility at the top of Tech Oil's hierarchy. Cammy is not content to observe quietly or defer to authority. She believes that power must be asserted, not negotiated, and she carries with her the conviction that visibility equals influence. Every interaction she has with Tommy is charged, but not with anger. It is charged with competing philosophies, caution versus ambition, calculated survival versus immediate action. The episode frames their dynamic as a study in restraint and volatility. Cammy does not seek conflict for spectacle. She pushes boundaries because she understands that in a world like MTech, hesitation invites danger. Her patience, however, is finite. The trailer suggests that Episode 6 will test just how far she can stretch it before control slips entirely. Tommy, on the other hand, is painfully aware of the stakes. He knows that unchecked ambition can ignite chaos, yet his own patience is fraying under the relentless pressure of responsibility. What makes their tension compelling is the lack of overt hostility. There is no shouting, no dramatic confrontation staged for effect. Instead, the tension is implied through small gestures, deliberate pauses, and carefully measured words. Every glance, every hesitation, every seemingly minor decision between them carries consequences that extend beyond the immediate room. The episode emphasizes that leadership is not only about managing tasks, but about navigating human ambition, perception, and expectation. Cammy and Tommy are bound together by necessity. Neither can afford to fully undermine the other without risking mutual destruction. Yet, their philosophies are irreconcilable. Tommy favors calculated action, incremental control, and survival within constraints. Cammy pushes for bold moves, visibility, and immediate assertion of authority. Episode 6 uses this contrast to show that the pressures of leadership are not just logistical, they are philosophical. The episode asks the audience to consider How long can a fragile balance survive before one philosophy consumes the other? The episode also highlights the consequences of their choices on the broader organization. Every negotiation, every decision, every cautious or aggressive move affects not just them, but everyone under their influence. The trailer makes it clear that Episode 6 will force decisions that cannot be postponed. Leadership is no longer theoretical. It is operational, immediate, and ruthless. Underneath the professional tension, Episode 6 subtly explores personal costs. Cammy's drive for recognition and authority mirrors Tommy's internal struggle with responsibility. Both are shaped by the high-stakes environment around them, and both are aware that failure carries personal as well as professional consequences. The episode's narrative demonstrates that in the world of Landman, leadership is never isolated. It is a web of influence, consequence, and moral compromise. Finally, the episode teases the audience with what lies beneath the surface: the fragility of relationships, the cost of ambition, and the quiet, suffocating weight of choices. This is not about overt conflict. It is about a slow-burn tension that grows heavier with every decision, every pause, every unspoken expectation. Episode 6 makes it clear: control is an illusion, and in this world, the only certainty is pressure.